The Elder Scrolls Online's new, totally not an expansion, but totally an expansion, Morrowind is coming up fast. And this weekend, I was granted an early look at the island of, I don't know how to pronounce this, so I'm just gonna say whatever I feel like, Vvardenfell, and the new Warden class. Sadly, I didn't get a look at the new battlegrounds, but we'll make do. For those of you confused as to why Morrowind is a big deal, The Elder Scrolls 3, released back in 2002, was subtitled Morrowind, and took place on the island of volcanic. And nostalgia's a bitch. Moving on. This is going to be a little bit of a shorter video because sadly I feel like I'm pretty limited on what I can talk about with ESO's Morrowind, as I don't want to spoil any of the new quests or areas for people. The majority of the new content in Vvardenfell is story related, approximately 30 hours of it, or at least 30 hours in dev time. In hardcore player time, it's probably like 5. I could talk about the new Warden class, but really how in depth can I get without putting some significant time into the beta? Answer, not really. So I'll do what I can. In general, the Warden will be f***ing OP. Just like most new classes introduced in an MMO, totally not an expansion. And if that's not the case, naturally the best response is to nerf the f*** out of the other classes just to make sure. Each skill tree for the Warden corresponds with a different part of the Trinity. The DPS spec is called Animal Companions, and uses animals to do your DPS for you. Why use an axe when you have birds? Or bees! And while I'd love to discuss the birds and bees with you some more, I'll leave that to your parents. It should be mentioned that this spec's ultimate ability is calling in bears. God's greatest killing machine. They're cute and cuddly though, aren't they? The tank spec is called Winter's Embrace. Don't worry, I'll try and keep this one brisk. You'll use ice to protect and heal yourself, and possibly give yourself hypothermia, and you'll also use it to hurt your enemies. It's definitely gonna be a polarizing spec, what with low cooldowns and a chill playstyle. Okay, none of that's true. I was just looking for some biting ice puns. Yes, they may be bad, but stick around and eventually you'll grow numb to them. And the heal spec uses mushrooms. I'm sure there's a shrooms joke here, but my knowledge of mind-altering substances is surprisingly limited. In fact, Morrowind is full of shrooms. Like, giant ones. Everywhere. I keep half expecting a red and blue plumber to run by. While the island of Vvardenfell is gorgeous in ESO, I'm not entirely sure what it was like back in Elder Scrolls 3. To be honest, I didn't play Elder Scrolls 3. I kinda jumped on the Oblivion train, so I can't really compare the two. I can say that Varsity Blues is the biggest zone in the game, and it comes with a lot of new content to do. But as to whether or not it feels like Morrowind, I don't know. Quests tend to flow well and the story is compelling. That's good, right? Past that, it's just more ESO, which for me is great because I love ESO. But the question is, do you like ESO? If so, then good news! Morrowind is more of what you like. Now, if you don't like ESO, then Morrowind probably won't do much to change your mind, unless you're just really in love with the island of Varkanacker. In which case, I'm very sorry for mispronouncing it this entire time. And that was my first impression on ESO's Morrowind. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button for future videos. I've also put another video for you to watch right up here. If you want, you can follow me on Twitter or Facebook for some random thoughts. And if you really want to help the channel, you can donate to me on Patreon like these other amazing people. Stay frosty, my friends.